Hello, everyone. Welcome to our monthly setup. We are going to set up the month of July in our Silk and Sonder journals. I cannot believe, I know, Chris, I cannot believe we are already setting up for July. How does that happen? But we are July 1st, we're halfway through the year, right? It just keeps moving right along. Was anybody here with me this morning? We set up our week, right? And so I know obviously some people, Stephanie was here, Meredith was here, Joanna was here. Denise was here. Yes. So we are back, right? So I was here with you all. We set up the week and then I went up into the mountains to a fun little community kind of arts and crafts festival with my mom and my sister and my husband. We had lovely lunch, bought a lot of fun stuff at the thrift store up there, and got back just in time to help you all set up for July. So worked out really well. Yes, Heather's back for round two today, right? And we do have tomorrow morning we'll have a monthly setup, and then tomorrow afternoon slash evening we'll do a weekly setup, and then Monday morning there's a weekly setup, and then Tuesday night I think there's another monthly setup. So we do a lot of these just because we know that some folks like to come to multiple ones. Sometimes you'll spend the time hanging out in the chat with your friends and kind of catching up on where everybody is. And then another time you come and it's nose in the journal and filling things out. So it's kind of up to you. You're welcome to come to as many of these as you would like. So if we haven't met yet, my name's Maya. I am here in Denver, Colorado. Technically, I'm in Aurora, one of the suburbs of Denver. And it is hot, hot, hot here today. I think it's 97 outside, super hot. But it was much nicer up in the mountains. It was still pretty warm, but it definitely felt nicer up there. So, and I know lots of you are in places where it is also hot. So I hope you're somewhere staying cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be hot all week. And we actually, my husband and I are leaving Wednesday night to go to the East Coast to go to Maryland. We do our annual trip to Ocean City, Maryland, where I'm sure it probably will be hot there too. So lots of cool drinks and cool cloths and sleeveless tops and lots of sunscreen, right? So that is July. So just a few little tips and tricks here really quick. Make sure you set that chat to everyone. It does have an obnoxious tendency, Zoom does, if you're on an iPad or an iPhone, it will flip back to host and panelist. And when it does that and you type in the chat and it says it's to host and panelist, the only people that can read what you write are myself and my fabulous co-host, Katie. She is coming to us from Oklahoma. I don't know if it's hot where you are, Katie, but I'm guessing it probably is. She's helping out in the chat. She can answer questions. I try to keep an eye on the chat, but I will be honest, sometimes it distracts me and then I forget what I was going to say. So sometimes I have to kind of look away. Yep, Katie says it's hot and humid. She's melting. Yeah, it's that time of year, right? Um, so we also have a few community guidelines. We want to make sure this is a safe and supportive space, right? We want to make sure that you're kind and courteous to both yourself and others. No promotions or spam. We respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. We limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. It's fine to ask a few questions about where people get pins and stickers, but we try to keep the conversation focused on the monthly setup there in the chat. But I know sometimes we have a tendency to go down a little path, right? Which is absolutely fine. Any of those customer care inquiries all go to our team, hello@silkandsonder.com. Katie and I don't have access to your accounts. We can't fix addresses or check on shipping or anything like that. Just know that headquarters is a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Pacific time zone. So sometimes it takes a little while for them to get back to you, especially if you email them on a weekend. So just a little patience is always appreciated. And then remember that these socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And goodness, we have such a fabulous community, so supportive, so smart, so creative. I just love our community here. But ultimately, you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if there's ever anything that we're working on that just isn't your jam, you don't feel it, you're welcome to do something else there in the journal. If the music I play isn't your jam, you can mute that. If my voice isn't your jam, you can mute me. We have closed captioning enabled, right? This is your time. And I will say the monthly socials are a little bit longer. They're an hour and 15 minutes, so 75 minutes, which still goes by super fast, I know, but it is a little bit of extra time. But hey, if you have to leave early, no worries. We do record these and they'll be up on the YouTube channel in no time. They come up pretty fast, usually about 30 minutes or so. Um, just know that the chat is not there. Yeah, Denise, I know it's still not long enough. I know I think we could kind of go on chatting for a long time. And if you were with Meha and I when we did a few weeks ago the mid-year reset, we went for 2 hours and I think we could have kept talking. So that video is posted on YouTube as well. So if you get a chance, you can always watch that one too. But that was super fun with kind of chat. Yeah, April, that was awesome. I keep telling Meha we need to do more of those just kind of informal chatty chats, right? And yeah, just chatting is so fun. So it's July, and I had to put the it's July, let's decorate for Christmas, right? The Christmas in July theme is always kind of fun to see, but especially if it's cooler, right? Dealing with this heat. So, hello, July, right? We are almost there. It is irritating to me that July starts on a Wednesday. If I ruled the world, all the months would start on a Monday. They would only have 28 days and we would have 13 months and it would be just fine and everything would be nice and tidy. But I don't. So, we're just going to have to make do. So, I do sometimes people will ask, well, which journal should I use? Should I be in July? Should I be in June? My rule of thumb is usually whichever journal has the most days is the one that I move to. So that would be July. But I started a lot of things in my June journal for this coming week just because I hadn't gotten my July journal yet. So I'll be like living in both worlds. I'll have to carry both journals around for this week, which is fine. So a lot of people, it's kind of, some people are ready to like jump completely into the new month. They're like, oh, let's, totally jump in. So again, just know when we do the weekly setup, we'll still kind of be in June land. We'll be finishing up the theme there, but it's all good, right? It's all good. We kind of have that little bit of overlap. I wanted to highlight some of our super creative, fabulous, again, Sonder fam, y'all are so creative and fun. People decorating their journal covers. I feel like we should have a contest for most creative or most colorful or whatever journal cover decorations because a lot of people have been having fun with stickers and some different paper and washi tape and all of those different things. So I wanted to share these with you because I just thought these were so fun to see some of these different ways that people are redecorating the cover. I'll be honest, mine, I only see the cover usually for the first few minutes and then I've got it open to whatever page I'm working on. So I hardly ever see the cover, but I love if I decorated a cover, that might be fun. And I know Jennifer O, our facilitator who does she does all the coloring socials. She's talked about maybe spending some time at the coloring social doing some cover decorating because people are having so much fun with it. And I love that. And it's a great place to put your stickers, right? I always say stickers need to fulfill their sticker destiny. So they need to be stuck on something. So this is a great opportunity to do that. So thank you all for sharing their in Sonder Club how you've redecorated and made them so lovely on those front covers. So the month of July, we are flowing into this idea of savoring, right? So I've got this really great quote here from Tara Branch who says, the way to develop the habit of savoring is to pause when something is beautiful and good catches our attention. The sound of rain, the look of the night sky, the glow in a child's eyes, or when we witness some kindness. Pause and then totally immerse in the experience of savoring it, right? And we've really been talking about this idea, we'll be talking about this all month, of pausing, of savoring, of really enjoying what we have, kind of enjoying that moment. So I hope you're going to enjoy this month's theme as much as I think I will. I think it's a great theme to kind of dive into for the month of July. So if you're like me, when I get my journal, the first thing I do is I turn to Meha's letter to us. Our founder, Meha, always writes us, we call it our little love letter. She kind of tells us what she's thinking about when she picked this theme, kind of what's going on, the things that really are popping out to her when she thinks about this idea of the theme. Yeah, Meredith says, I'm super excited about the theme this month. Me too. I think it's really fun. But really notice she talks a lot about slowing down, being present with joy, thinking about what's one small moment you'd like to stretch a little longer, right? The moments I savor most aren't always long, but they're deep and lingering in that moment a little longer. So that's what we're really going to try to emphasize this month is really just enjoying where we are, slowing down. And I think slowing down during the hot months really is a good idea, right? Instead of trying to the rush, 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 just kind of slowing down, really appreciating where we are and knowing that the most meaningful memories aren't always the grand ones. They're the ones that we had the presence to savor. So we're actually there savoring that moment. So I thank Meha for having super fun little letter to us there. So, our plan for our time together is we are going to do a little monthly acrostic poem. And I have some ideas for you if acrostic poems aren't quite your jam. That's absolutely fine. We're going to reflect on June, even though we still have a couple days left in June. We're going to kind of reflect where we are now. We're going to set those July intentions. We're going to work on our mood tracker and we're going to work on our habit tracker. And I've got lots of examples, ideas for ways that you can use this that come from other Sonder fam members. So if you've been with me for a while, you know I use these two little icons here, two little graphics to illustrate a couple of points. The first one is there's room for you here just as you are. Things are going great. You want to celebrate, really things are, really kind of want to talk about the good things that are happening. That is great. We love to celebrate with you. And we know that life is kind of that series of ups and downs. So sometimes things are rough. Sometimes we have some health issues. We have family members with health issues. Our little fur babies have some issues. Sometimes jobs can be, sometimes the heat is too much for some of us. Car trouble, right? That's just how life is. And we're here for that too, right? You don't have to think that you have to censor or you have to always be happy or put on a happy face, right? We're here for all of those things. And sometimes it's really nice just to hear if other people are struggling with things or kind of having some challenges. You'd be surprised how often you think it's just you dealing with a challenge and a lot of other people are dealing with that challenge as well. So it's nice sometimes to kind of commiserate a little bit and get someone to say, girl, me too, right? Like I totally feel you. And then speaking of feelings, the way you feel matters and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. No one can tell you, oh, you shouldn't be mad about that, or you should be happy about this, or that shouldn't bother you, right? It's just our feelings are what they are. And we're here to kind of identify the feelings, right? And kind of sit with them and decide what are we going to do with this, right? Like what is this feeling I'm feeling? What do I need to do? And how do I work through that? So we are going to do an acrostic poem. It is not in the journal this month. Some months the acrostic poem is printed out on a page. It's not there in July. I am sorry. So you're going to find some sort of a blank space in your journal. It could be the back page. It could be any like the notes section. Some people like to use page 1 where it says notes and there's kind of the little lines. They'll use it there. We've got those 8 letters. So you want to come up with 8 words or phrases for savoring. Then you can create that acrostic poem with your brainstorm list. And you can do sentences, you can do one word, you can do sets of words for each line. And I'll show you just a few little ideas for that. I found this really fun little poem that was, if the month of July was your friend. And I thought about this as kind of an interesting concept, right? What if the month of July was your friend? And so Hannah says, if July was your friend, she'd be the perfect summer day, warm, inviting, sunny in the best of ways. Everything you did with her would feel like magic. Walking on the beach, dancing outside to live music, sitting on the deck after a summer storm. July always seemed to be in love with the world. How fun, she'd say, her good mood contagious. She'd host parties at her house, introduce everyone like they were the most wonderful person to know. Oh, you two will love each other, she'd tell people who just met, putting her arms around them. And she was usually right. July saw the best in everyone and everything, which of course made everything and everyone see the best in themselves. So I love that. And Sierra, I understand if you're not bestest friends with July, but you can also kind of think about what if July was your friend? What if July wanted to be your friend? What could you do with that, right? So you could also just write savoring, right? Just write those letters out across, and then you could come up with, here's some examples of some things to do. Or if the word savoring is too long, you could just do savor, right? So that's only 5 letters. And and it could be one word, right? Like sense, appreciate, vitalize, open your heart, and rest, right? You could also have it more prose like, where it says slowing down to notice the quiet beauty of the day, allowing the present moment to gently wash away. Value every second, finding joy in what is small, open your heart to truly experience it all. Reflecting in the stillness and the peace that it can bring, inhaling every breath with the gratitude of spring. Notes of sweet contentment linger softly in the air, grasping onto memories to keep within your care. So, again, it can be long, it can be short. We'll give you a little bit of time to work on this, but I know some people kind of like to work on it over the course of the next few days. Kind of the idea is that you're kind of getting into this idea of what does savor mean to me? What is savoring? What does that look like? But if the acrostic poem isn't your jam, right? If you're not a super fan of acrostic poems, maybe you want to write a letter saying goodbye to June and hello to July. Maybe you want to use July as the acrostic, right? The July. Maybe you want to create savoring affirmations to guide your month. Maybe you want to fill in that savoring definition there at the bottom of page 3. So here's a couple examples. One person did an acrostic to just summer, right? They said hello summer. So kind of thinking about that and what that looks like. And then here I put the little July affirmations, little word find here that you can maybe again kind of take a look at. You could also create your own affirmation by reflecting on some phrases. So I gave you some phrases to kind of think about. So maybe you want to do some July affirmations to kind of start off the bat, especially if maybe July is not your favorite month. Maybe the summertime and the heat is hard on you physically. I have a sister who has MS, and heat is really tough. The hot days are really hard on her, so she stays indoors a lot, right? There's a lot of, from the house, air conditioned house, to the air conditioned car, to an air conditioned store, but even that air conditioning is still really kind of zaps a lot of her energy. So I know that that's a thing. So maybe you want to create an affirmation about slowing down in the heat to allow your body to have what it needs, right? Those are all different things that you can do. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. I will let you work on this section now. Feel free to drop in the chat, kind of if you have an acrostic for savoring or savor, if you want to talk about what your July affirmations might be or your words that you're going to pick for the month. And then we'll check back in and we'll keep moving on. All right. I am loving seeing the different things coming up in the chat, all the fun poems, the words, soften, appreciate the moment, very easy opening, reveling in summer. Oh, that's a fun one. Indulging, no hurry, grateful. Oh my gosh, my little chat is being kind of obnoxious. Stay in the moment, appreciate beauty, value life's joys, open up your heart, rest, inhale, exhale, notice the small, sweet things, gratitude for. I love all of these. These are so fun. This idea of just reflecting on our time, our joyous time together. Vibrant hues paint the sky at dusk. That's a pretty one. Inviting peace in all you've begun. So many great poems, great words. I just love this. So make sure that if you didn't have a chance, because I know sometimes it's a little fast, and sometimes if you're hanging out in the chat, you're like, oh, I don't have time. Um, maybe work on this over the next few days as we get ready to go into July, and feel free, if you feel comfortable, to share in Sonder Club, because we love seeing those poems in there. So let's open up our journals now. We're going to do our June reflections. And oops, I've got the wrong journal. What page is that on? You think I would know because it's always on the same page. We're going to do our June reflections, which are on page 8. And it's always good to spend just a little bit of time reflecting on the month. And keep in mind, we do still have a few days. So maybe there's some things you want to add in the next few days, but we can start out with some of our wins for the month, some of our challenges, some of our favorite moments. Sometimes our favorite moments are our wins. And then thinking about what do you want to start, stop, and continue when we move into July, right? So our wins are something that you did, something you accomplished, something that made you smile, it made you happy. For me, a lot of times I will write down if I finished any knitting projects. So I actually finished a couple cowls, which were like the infinity scarf kind of things. Finished a couple of those on our trip to Taos, which was also a win. We had a great trip to Taos. New Mexico is lovely. Certainly is the land of enchantment. It definitely earns that moniker. So that's always fun. Sometimes wins are movies I've seen, or when I was able to get to the gym a certain number of times during the month. And then our challenges are something, and maybe that didn't go right, something out of our control, a stumbling block, a frustration. So for me, a lot of times my challenge is meetings at work. I am just not a big fan of meetings. I feel like a lot of times the meetings could have been an email. So that's definitely something that is a challenge for me to try to kind of deal with there. And then June favorite moments, I would definitely say today was one of the favorite moments, going up into the mountains with my mom and my sister, my husband, kind of being up there. The sky was beautiful and the weather was nice, except it was a little windy, which was probably good because it made it not be quite so hot. We had such a great lunch. It was just kind of fun seeing people. There were some fun vendors with some really pretty art, really pretty different kinds of artwork. There was somebody who did like really pretty paintings and wood burning on kind of like just like a I don't a stick, I guess is kind of a weird word, but it's a stick from the tree and it was like cut in half and they did these fun little drawings on there. So that was definitely fun. So if you're kind of trying to be like, oh, what did I do this month? I don't remember. You can go back and look at your rosebud thorns from the weekly spreads in June if you have the June journal. Maybe you want to go through your phone, look at your calendar and scroll through those photos from the last month. This is also a good opportunity to maybe delete some of those photos or I send a lot of our photos. We have one of those digital camera frames, and so I'll send a lot of photos there, so it's kind of fun to see those kind of pop up and start circulating. So it's always this is a good time to kind of clean up the month there. And then below it has the what do I want to start, stop, and continue. So I want to start, maybe there's some things I'm not doing but I would like to start doing. Maybe I want to kind of change things up to get some better results. Maybe I want to experiment with something. Things I want to stop are maybe things that aren't helping me. Maybe they're impeding me or they're not practical. They're not delivering those desired results. They're things I don't like, things that are no longer serving me. And then continue. Maybe there's some things from last month that I want to bring forward, right? Things I did in in June, I want to keep doing in July. So I want to keep kind of taking a look at that. So you can definitely kind of bring those things over. So here's kind of some tips again for that start, stop, and continue. Maybe you want to focus on a specific area of growth, like maybe it's relationships or maybe it's health and wellness. Maybe it's decluttering, maybe it's finances, maybe it's education, maybe it's your core values. You want to do some digging into this idea of core values. Or then maybe you want to kind of take that theme of savoring and see how this month's theme could influence that start, stop, and continue. And I like this little graphic that says July is your invitation to pause, reset your heart, refocus your energy, and choose your direction for the rest of the year, which I think is a great thing to think about, right? So maybe this is you want to start, you want to give yourself a nice pause so that you can reset and refocus. Excuse me. Here's some examples of things that folks have put in there for the start, stop, and continue. Maybe they want to start doing more walking. They want to get ready for a 5K. Maybe you want to start exercising with no excuses allowed, taking some simple and small steps forward. They want to start doing some artwork again, start saying no more at work, start having some unplug time. Maybe then for stopping, maybe a lot of us talk about stopping our time on the phone, right? We get so lost in our phones, right? Somebody will stop watching TVs and movies. I like stop putzing around. I think that's kind of funny. Stop with the procrastination and delaying decisions and those kinds of things, which can be hard, right? I know Beth Ann's saying it's really hot there. Feels like it's 105 to 110. So maybe you want to stop feeling like you have to go outside to do different kinds of things, right? So kind of thinking about that. And then things you want to continue. Maybe you want to continue coming to your socials. Maybe you want to continue writing things down. Maybe you want to continue having honest expectations, those kinds of things, right? So I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you work on this section, and then we'll check back in and we'll keep moving on. Feel free to let us know in the chat if you want to let us know those wins, those challenges, those favorite moments, and then that what you want to start, stop, and continue. And then we will check back in. Right. So thank you for sharing there in the chat some of those wins, some of those challenges, some of those favorite moments. I love seeing good stories about the kiddos who had some health issues. Meredith's daughter turned 18 this month, but she had some pretty bad health issues at the age of 10 and only had a 10% chance of survival. And now she's 18. So I love that. Love hearing those good stories. So thank you for sharing that, Meredith. I love that. And so this is always good, right? To really kind of think about um, the that mix of the good and the not so good and things that we can kind of take that moment to savor and look at. So again, thank you all for sharing there in the chat. So let's move over now to set some intentions for the month of July. So over to page 9, and we give you 6 ideas of areas of your life that you might want to think about setting intentions: spiritual health, personal life, physical health, key relationships, money management, and professional goals. Keep in mind, these are just suggestions. You do not have to use all of these categories. You do not have to fill in every box, right? It's very possible, especially if you're newer, that maybe you want to focus on maybe only 1 or 2 areas for the month. 6s can be too many, right? So absolutely can do that. And you can also rename some of these categories or change them up if it doesn't quite fit for you. So maybe you want to use that theme of savoring to set those intentions. Maybe you want to focus on a particular area like self-love or self-talk. Maybe you want to use the name of a song or use some song lyrics to kind of help you help inspire those intentions that you set. Maybe you want to think about how you want to feel in each one of these areas this month. What does that look like? These areas, what do they look like for you this month? Maybe you want to put in stickers or just some colors or some images or things that you want to put in these boxes. Maybe you want to decide, here's one thing I want to let go of in this area and one thing I want to start doing. So let me show some ideas here for some repurposing of the categories. Again, right, these categories are just starting, just to kind of give you an idea. You can always scribble them out and write something new. You can get the correction tape that's kind of the ivory that matches the color of the pages so that you can cover over those. So you can put in something else. So maybe spiritual health becomes something like mental health or connection. Maybe personal life becomes creative life or hobbies or home life, personal fun, summer life. Maybe key relationships are things like family relationships, or maybe you want to focus on work relationships or marriage relationships. Maybe for professional goals, I know a lot of folks we have here are retired. Good for you. Yay. I'm hoping to join your ranks at some point, right? So maybe you don't necessarily have professional goals, but you have some learning goals or some creative goals or gardening goals or vacation goals. Vacation goals is great for this month, I think, because a lot of folks are taking vacation. And I do have a little graphic later on for how to kind of take a vacation at home. So more of like the staycation idea. Also keep in mind that there's always like it's the national month of something, right? So there's always something. It's National Anti-Boredom Month, which I think is kind of interesting. National Grilling Month, that works out well. National Peach Month, you could always try grilling some peaches on the grill, which are delicious. National Ice Cream Month, I can totally support that. Maybe you want to, your goal is to eat more ice cream this month. National Hot Dog Month. My boss loves hot dogs. He's so funny. He always talks about how he loves to go to different places to get hot dogs, right? And so it's like, okay, oh, Meredith is eating ice cream as she types this. I love it. Perfect. Highly approve. National Independent Retailer Month. So those small businesses, go and support those. Fragile X Awareness Month for that particular condition. French American Heritage Month. Juvenile Arthritis Awareness Month. So there's always lots of there's always these, and I know there's probably more than this, but there's always kind of these national months. So sometimes it's kind of creative to take one of these months and kind of theme out your intentions around that. So Chris is going to throw some hot dogs on the grill. So love it, right? Totally can support that. So here's some things that some folks have done Notice the one on the right, they've used some sticky notes because they're like, I'm still kind of thinking about these intentions. I don't want to commit them to the boxes yet. So I'm going to put them on sticky notes so I can revise later if I need to. Totally understand that. Some people like to draw cute little drawings, little sketches, right? For key relationships, they're going to have some date nights in their personal life. They're going to read more. Love it. And then the one on the left, they have some fun little Disney stickers and they're going to they've kind of got some different things around that, like always be kind. You'll always find a way to do it for you with the Tiana sticker. I love those, are always super fun. Let's see what else. Maybe you want to explore some dualities. So it's like do this and avoid this, or I want more of this and less of this, or I want to embrace this and release this. So here's some examples of some things for, let's see, for like key relationships. They want more time with the people who truly need your focus and less being more concerned than the people it concerns, right? It's always one of those like, I can't care about this for you more than you care about it kind of thing, right? So kind of sometimes letting that go. Or embrace and release. They want to embrace joy by using my talents heavily to contribute to my project, release distractions during critical work hours with various techniques there in their professional goals. I love that idea. So great ideas for things to think around that. Some people have beautiful handwriting and they wrote just one word in each one of those boxes, lots of pretty colors. I love that. They want growth and strength, saving, clean, dates, prepared, right? Just one word there. Some people have lots of stickers, lots of fun little stickers that they've popped in there. Again, I always say, those stickers want to be stuck, right? They need to fulfill their little sticker destiny. Here's some other ones where they have, I think these were actually from last July, which was, I think our theme was independence then, but kind of thinking about, notice how she changed it on the left. So the kind of took away those particular categories and they have empowered choices, embrace solitude, self-expression, skill expansion, freedom to explore, strength and resilience, right? So they kind of came up with their own things that were related to this idea of independence. One person, they changed spiritual health to personal growth and education, right? Again, different ideas for things to do. They want some more read nonfiction club, read non-book club, nonfiction, read non-book club, nonfiction. Personal life is be me, stop worrying about I'm not sure what that, every act. Get back to weekly dates, doing a walk, some yoga, lunch prep. And then this person, I think this is great. And this is like a nice tie-in to think about when you set your intentions. And if you have maybe one word or kind of that comment, when we do our mood tracker, they changed it to their intentions tracker. And they're tracking kind of how aligned they were or how they used or how they embraced some of those different intentions, right? Which is a great idea to kind of remember, like these were the intentions I set. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I will set really great intentions. I spend a lot of time here in the beginning of the month setting it up, and then I forget to look at it the rest of the month. Oops. So this is a good way to kind of help remind you to take a look at that. And remember to include yourself in the list of things you need to take care of today. Also, maybe you want to focus on a fun summer bucket list. Maybe instead of intentions, one of your intentions is to read more. And so you're going to have some bucket list ideas about creating the perfect outdoor reading setup, spending an afternoon reading at the pool, like those kinds of things really around kind of what that looks like. Or maybe you want to pick up some what they call micro hobbies. So for your in-between moments, like waiting for a friend or a meeting ends early, transitioning out of your workday, if you have a commute on the train or the bus, those kinds of things. So there's this whole list of lots of fun, different micro hobbies, things like crosswords or embroidery or playing the Wordle. I like to play the connections. I'm not a good at Wordle, but I can do the connections in the New York Times. Yeah, definitely. Monica says, I feel like I read more during the nicer weather. Yeah, so taking a book outside and lounging in a comfy chair, I think that can be definitely nice as well. So I'm going to let you work on those intentions. Feel free to share in the chat kind of what you're thinking about those. We'll play a little bit of music and then we'll keep moving on. right. So how did we do? I see some fun. I like Greta picked some song lyrics that tie into the theme of savoring. So I saw the money management. I like this money can't buy us happiness. Can we all slow down and enjoy right now? Right. So it's a little bit of a song. I love song lyrics, are always kind of fun. Spiritual health, take your time, don't live too fast from Leonard Skinner. Always fun to kind of pick just a few little song lyrics that you really enjoy that really kind of speak to what you're thinking of in this particular area. So thanks everybody for sharing. I think these are really fun. And again, want to remind you, and we try to remind you in the weekly setups to go back and look at that intentions page, go back and look and see how you were feeling. And then sometimes maybe like after the first weekend of the month, you go, that intention just is not hitting right. Change it, right? You can scribble in your journal, you can use some washi tape, you can use anything you want and just kind of change it up. Do what you need for you. Don't feel like you're stuck. Oh, I said at the beginning of the month, this is what my intention was going to be. So I guess I'm stuck with it. Nope. There's no journal police. We're not going to come knock on your door and say, oh no, this was the intention you set. You have to stick with it. Nope, nope. You can change that right up. Do what you need to do for you. So let's look at our trackers. Let's look at our mood tracker and our habit tracker. We'll work on our mood tracker first. And a lot of people say, well, why would I track my moods, right? Why am I doing this? Well, we're really doing it to kind of understand some trends in how we're feeling. Maybe we can notice if we're kind of trending toward a place that isn't really where we want to be, and we can start making those shifts. And we can bring some tools into what works when those positive moods are showing up for us. So kind of helps bring a little bit of awareness, right? It helps us kind of understand where we are and kind of what we're thinking. And it's good to see. And I will say, some months we have the circle and some months we have it in the little hexagons. So July is hexagon, right? Usually we used to kind of have a pattern where it was the 31 days had the circle and the 30 or 28, 29 days had the hexagon. They've changed it up on us. So we're a hexagon. We're team hexagon again this month. It's okay. It's okay. I know some people are more team circle. So our team hexagon people are probably happy. And I found this graphic that I think is really nice. How it says, you will always be here. Look at the now in the middle of that infinity symbol, right? So it says the present moment doesn't always feel good, right? It doesn't. It just doesn't. Sometimes it feels great. Sometimes the present moment doesn't feel good, but it's the only place where feeling actually happens. The past is merely memories that we've collected. The future is only ideas we're imagining. It's always now, be here. And I think this is perfect for us as we think about our moods or our feelings this month. Like, what am I feeling right now? So I will tell you one of the things when I do the mood tracker, I will often set an alarm on my phone or on my Fitbit to tell me like it's time for the mood tracker, and I will track my mood right then. Because if I try to do it at the end of the day, I'm like, well, let's see, I was happy, I was grumpy about this, I was like, it's too many. So I'm like, I want to focus on a mood at a particular time. So maybe you want to look at your mood before bed. Maybe you want to look at your mood when you wake up in the morning. Maybe you want to look at your mood at noon. Sometimes that can be super helpful. Oh, Monica says that last month she did 3 moods for my personal life and 3 moods for my work life. Felt good to get out of the usual moods and repetition. I love that. And maybe you want to choose those 2 or 3 negative feelings, 1 neutral and 2 or 3 positive. I tried one time to just track positive feelings and it felt forced. I'll be honest, because I don't always have positive feelings. So I was like, okay, that's not quite, it didn't feel authentic, right? So I know there's going to be some negative things and I know there's going to be kind of some positive. I know a lot of people will put one in the middle. They'll have like a 7th one and it will be meh, right? MEH, right? Kind of be, or like EH, right? Kind of like, it's kind of it's like, I don't really have it. I'm just kind of there to kind of keep track of that. Maybe you want to focus on that theme of savoring. So maybe, blah, Bridget, that's a good one. Blah is a good one. Maybe you want to see like how did I savor the moments today, like on a scale of 1 to 6 or something like that? Maybe you want to fill in every emotion that comes up that day. That would just be like, I would just have to color in the whole thing for me. Maybe you want to just fill in what emotion was the strongest. You could use those stickers or doodles or whatever you want there. Um, yeah, and Monica's saying I felt like I did too many blah or meh, which is why I switched it up. I think that totally makes sense. So, of course, we have the feelings wheel, lots and lots and lots of different words. Maybe you want to pick something that you haven't picked before, like cheerful or rage or insecure or tenderness or neglected or right any of the enthusiastic is kind of a fun one or euphoric. Ooh, I don't know, maybe you will feel that way this month, so kind of think of those and you can kind of pick one of those to check out. Oh yeah, Monica says WTF is definitely one of the work moods. I get that. Um, or maybe you need some emotion words from our Inside Out characters, right? With fear, anger, joy, and sadness. Maybe you want to see how often you feel wacky. One of the things my little sister said today, because we were both kind of celebrating our birthdays, hers was the 22nd and mine was the 18th. So we were doing kind of a belated birthday celebration. And she said, I taught her that you never really have to grow up. You can always be kind of a goofy kid. So maybe tracking goofy moods or goofy feelings is kind of a fun thing to do. Again, today's maybe you're gonna feel many feelings. We are noticing them, we're curious about them, we're seeking the wisdom in them, we're having compassion, and we are remembering that they are temporary. Moods are not us. They're just feelings that we're having and they will pass through. And so we're just kind of giving ourselves a little chance to kind of take a look. I also really like, I want to make a sticker. I want to make stickers out of these little positively present popsicles because I think they're so cute. But like maybe you want to track what you need for that day. Maybe you needed peace of mind or true connection, safe freedom, soft comfort, new perspective, zero doubts, good news, acceptance of now. I'm kind of tempted to kind of make those into a sticker or print them out or something because I think those are fun. April, my birthday was the 18th of this month, and my sister's was the 22nd. So here's some examples of things that folks have done for moods, right? Again, different, and some people like put the little day of the week there on the top. One person tracked their emotions and their energy level, right? To kind of see if there was maybe any sort of a connection between the emotions they're feeling and the energy, their energy level. I like the one they have today. I woke up feeling blank and I went to bed feeling blank. So maybe you want to do two, right? Divide it in half. So I woke up feeling this and I went to bed feeling this, right? Again, kind of gives you those time anchors to really think about what you're feeling there. And you can see the one kind of up there in the middle, how they've colored, they've got multiple colors. Like on the fourth, it's all just content. But on the first, they've got gratitude, they've got stress, they've got content, and then they've got a little bit of gratitude again, right? So we know we can have lots of those feelings all at once, right? In one day. And then they have some stickers over here on the right. And then the one on the left, they gave themselves even more kind of descriptives, more things to kind of think about if they were feeling sick or if they were having some pain, positive, those kinds of things. And we can always repurpose this, right? If you're like, tracking my moods is not a thing I need to do, right? It's just, I've tried it, doesn't work out for me. Maybe we want to track affirmations or anxiety levels, depression levels, energy levels on a scale of 1 to 6. Maybe we want to rate the day. Great day is a 6, blah day is a 1. Different ways to do that. Here's some examples. Bailey, one of our other facilitators, she had done to track anxiety levels up at the top where she has it from panic attack to none to kind of keep track of that. And that can be super helpful if you're working with a therapist to help kind of bring this in to show them this data that you've collected over the month. Super helpful. Another person had a self-care tracker where they were tracking some different things, emotional things. Maybe it was journaling and meditating, physical things, exercising, walking, eating fruits and veggies. So that's like a great way to kind of track ways that they took care of themselves. Intention, again, another intentions tracker, right? They wanted to remind themselves to look at their intentions and see what that looked like. A food tracker, and then kind of how they felt. A business habits tracker, someone kind of keep tracking of the different things that they do for their business, and then a workout tracker, right? Other ways to kind of keep track of that with all of those different pieces. Oops, I'm going to stop there. So let us know in the chat kind of what you are going to track here. Again, some people use it as a book tracker. They'll kind of color in what book they've been reading. Lots of different ways to do that, or let us know what moods that you are going to track. So again, a little bit of music time, work on that, let us know in the chat, and then we'll move on to those habit trackers. Oh, right. Thank you for sharing in the chat some of the different ideas. I appreciated somebody said they're thinking of they do want to track their moods because they think that it might be they've been kind of repurposing it for the last several months and they're like, actually, it might be better if I track my moods to kind of see how things go, but like, don't tell my therapist that I actually said that, right? Don't tell him I agreed with that. And then Greta said, I feel like if I track moods or energy, I'd always be tired and maybe that means I should though to prove me wrong. And I think that is such a great insight because we have a tendency to say, ugh, I'm always mad. Ugh, I'm always tired. I'm always grumpy. Or someone else will tell us that. We did have a Sonder fan member one time saying her husband had made some comment about, oh, you're always mad. And she's like, no, I'm not. You can look at my tracker. Here I was happy. Here I was this. Here I was that. Like she had the receipts, right? She had the data. So sometimes it really is helpful to help us get out of that all or nothing mindset that we have a tendency to get into when we think like I'm always blank. So sometimes that can be super helpful. Also, someone mentioned Jennifer O, one of our other facilitators. She did the monthly setup yesterday. Go back and watch her video. You can kind of skip ahead to this part. Someone had, she had an example of how someone said, if my day was a movie, it would be, here's the genre, right? So I think it was kind of like a comedy, a horror film. I can't remember what the other categories were, but like different, what is it? Let's see, comedy, drama, mystery, action, documentary, and horror. So that's another fun way of kind of tracking it's a how was your day in kind of a fun way. Or maybe like if it was a book, and you have some, what kind of a book genre might it be? So lots of great ideas for things that you can do for this monthly tracker. I will also be honest, sometimes I do a really good job of setting this up and then I forget to use it all month. So that's another one sometimes that I have to remind myself in my weeklies to go back, make sure I'm tracking my moods or tracking whatever it was I wanted to do with that one. So let's talk about our habit tracker over on the next page, over on page 11. So lots of things that we can track. Maybe there's things we want to start. So maybe we want to track a new habit that we'd like to start, see how that works out for us. Maybe it's we want to track something that we're just going to stop, right? So it's like maybe it's like not go through the drive-through, or I'm just going to make coffee at home, those kinds of things. So tracking that. Maybe it's things I want to continue. If last month, if June, you had great habits, they were super helpful. Being able to see how well you stuck to those was very helpful. Bring them over again, right? You don't have to come up with brand new habits every month. You really don't. If something is working for you, bring it forward. Conversely, if you had some habits on there and you look at it and you go, I didn't really do that much at all. That's a good time to ask yourself, okay, so is it serving me? Like, what's up with that? Why did I think that needed to be a habit? Was it a should versus a I want to? Yeah, Greta says she does well in the beginning and then falls off and then jumps back in at the end of the month. Yeah, I do the same thing, right? So don't feel bad. It happens, right? It's kind of like, well, maybe I don't have data for every day, but I have data for some of those days, and I'm good with that, right? It's okay. It's okay. So maybe we want to use savoring as our focus for a habit. Maybe it's some habits about like savor. I want to watch the sunrise every morning or most mornings. That's the other thing too, is just because it has all the days on here, it does not mean you have to do it every day. Maybe it's something you only want to do on the weekdays. Maybe it's something you only want to do on the weekends, but you're going to have it here. That's absolutely fine. Maybe you want to pick a particular theme that you want to go with. Again, continue those habits from last month. Find that balance of maybe habits you can do with ones that might be trickier to commit to. Do not, I repeat, do not come up with, what do we have? 6 lines here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't come up with 7 brand new things you want to do this month. You're just going to stress yourself out, right? Don't come up with 7 brand new things. Maybe one new thing, or maybe one is an extension of something. Maybe if you've been reading for 5 minutes every day for the last couple of months, maybe you bump it up to 7 minutes a day, right? You don't have to get crazy. If you're trying to get more steps in, maybe you've been doing your 5,000 steps a day. Maybe this month you're going to bring it up to 5,500 steps a day, right? Again, do those small steps, because that consistency of doing that is what really makes the difference there as you're working on it. And remember, our habits gradually change the face of our lives, right? Habits gradually change the face of one's life as time changes one's physical face, and one does not know it, right? So those habits, those little things you do, they all add up, right? As a knitter, if you're a knitter or a crocheter or a cross stitcher, right, you know that all those little stitches over and over and over and over and over again will make a sweater, will make a scarf, will make a beautiful picture that you can kind of see in there. But it's all those little things. It's lots of little things. So really kind of think about what little things do you want that will make your life stronger, make you happier, make your future you be happy, right? I've been trying to do that. What will future Maya thank me for if I do it today? Which is always a good thing, right? So here's some examples of some things that some folks have done. Beautiful, beautiful mandala, color, pretty, beautiful, live a life full of colors. I would never be able to do that much, right? That would kind of stress me out, but I love that some people, for them, that's their beauty, that makes them happy. Notice the one, and actually both of them, they have marked the weekends, right? There's a way to kind of know which ones are the weekends, because I think that can be super helpful as you take a look and see like, oh, I do this Monday through Friday, but I don't do it on the weekends. And sometimes, you know what? That's okay, right? Weekends are different. Or if you don't work Monday through Friday, maybe on your days off you don't do the things, right? And a lot of times that's okay. So here's some other examples. And some people will ask, what's the difference between this monthly habit wheel and the weekly one? These are things, generally speaking, we want to track every day. Weekly are those things we only maybe want to happen a few times a week, or maybe track for just 1 week out of the month. But again, you do what you need to do what you need for you, right? We've got a little frog there on the one habit tracker, right? It's kind of the eat the frog idea, where you do the worst thing first and then you get it out of the way. So she's got some different things listed in there. A lot of us want to get our water in. Time outside. I saw someone else was mentioning the outside, right? Touch grass. Right. This is a great time when it's cooler, right? We don't want to go out and melt, but being able to do that, getting in bed by a certain time. Maybe it's making sure you take your supplements. Maybe it's helping you remember that you need to take a shower or wash your hair, right? Sometimes that, I know that sounds silly, but sometimes having that written down and having it on there is very helpful in making sure that that gets done. Here's some other examples. Reading for fun. The something fun and creative, she kind of wrote some different things in there for kind of like what kind of thing, if it's an audio book, or I'm doing some knitting, different kinds of things, going to the cabin, right? Different kinds of things in there, moving and stretching. Remember, motion is lotion for those of us who sometimes have some knee issues or some elbow issues. Taking our vitamins. And I love this one on the right. She has some bonus habits. What a great idea. Bonus habits, right? I don't need to do these every day, but hey, if I do them, if I read for 30 minutes, I get to check a box. It's a bonus. Or if I practice some mindfulness habits, it's a bonus. I love that idea. Here's another one. She's got all the pretty lemons in there. I think that was the theme for this month. I've noticed lemons are quite the popular motif lately. Again, lots of different ideas for taking some meds, doing some skincare, brushing teeth, opening the blinds, making the bed. And remember, this is something I remind myself. I say this to myself, my little mantra. I don't have to do everything all at once. I have plenty of time to accomplish my goals, right? So I'm going to let you work on that. I did want to give you, I think that's, I've got so many different pictures for you here. I'll cycle through them. Ordinary and Happy has the fun July doodling ideas. Maybe you want to do a little doodle. Here's some ways to feel like you're on vacation without leaving the house, right? Those are some good, another Ordinary and Happy. And if you go to their website, Ordinary and Happy, you can get all of these. They also have them on Instagram and Facebook as well. Maybe you want to do a little July bucket list, or the one on the right is Gretchen Rubin's My Dream Summer list. So it's like my summer theme, my summer bucket list, my summer challenge, right? So lots of different ideas for some things to track there. And then we have like just some other habit tracker. I have too many ideas for you, right? As we start to run through our time. Oops, I went too fast. So I'm going to go back through these. Let us know there. What you're going to do with this habit tracker, what you're going to put in here, what you'd like to track for this month. And again, I'll play just a brief little bit of music, and then we'll check back in and we will wrap things up. Okay, well, even though we had an extra 15 minutes, it did not feel like it, right? Because we are here at the end of our time together. You've all had some great ideas there in the chat, kind of talking about some of the different things that you're going to, put down here for the habit tracker, different things to look at. I also like some folks were talking about kind of making a master to-do list, like on that back page. And then you can use the Eisenhower matrix. Yes, Pam, I know. What is the end? It's so fast. And you make that master to-do list, and then you can use the Eisenhower matrix that we talk about a lot in our weekly setups to kind of help you prioritize how you're going to kind of get those things done, what that looks like, all of those good things. So share your planner pages if you feel comfortable, right? This is not my journal cover, but I love someone else did these fun little affirmations there on their July. I've just been so happy seeing everyone. So we love to see your planners, see your pages, what you're going to do, how things worked out. Gives people lots of great ideas for what they want to do. We're going to get ready to say goodbye to June and hello to July. And I love the little monkey. It says it's me gently sipping and savoring my first cup of coffee of the morning. Coffee. I do love my coffee. So thank you all so much for joining us. Katie's going to pop some links in the chat for like our YouTube channel, so you can always go back and rewatch some of the different socials. And I think we have like over, I don't know how many thousands in there. Of different ones to take a look at. We are still there's still the Sonder Coach that you can kind of take for a test spin. You can take a look at that. I will pop my new July playlist that I've been kind of working from. That's not what I wanted to do. I swear I will pop that in the chat. And hopefully we will see you again. Like I said, Katie's going to do a monthly setup tomorrow morning. I'm going to do another weekly tomorrow night. Jen O is going to do a weekly Monday morning, and then I'll do another monthly on Tuesday night. So we've got lots of things. And then Wednesday, Bailey's going to do the Wheel of Life and Gratitude Jar. So we've got so many great socials. So I hope we will see you all again soon. Have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your evening as we think about savoring. Take care, everyone.
Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy and I feel like I'm loving you. Love you such a sweet thing, good enough to eat thing, and it's just what I'm gonna do. Ooh, love to hold ya, ooh, love to kiss ya, ooh, love, I love it so. Ooh, love is sweeter, sweeter than sugar, ooh, love, I won't let you go. Yummy, yummy, yummy,